Hello, welcome to another episode of Jason's Shop. Here we see the model 1055 Sharp Awl from Foley Belsaw. I have some other videos dealing with it and how to sharpen things on it. Today, we're going to be working with one of the more commonly sought out items for sharpening, or sought out for information on sharpening, and that is hand chisels. I'm going to show you how to effectively sharpen a hand chisel on this machine today. And let's head over here to the bench. Okay, here we are. Here's an assortment of chisels, and I'll talk a little bit about them. Now, this chisel, this chisel, this chisel, this chisel, this chisel, and this chisel have all been sharpened. Now, these three over here we're going to sharpen today, and I'm going to show you how to do that. They have not been sharpened. Now, one of the common myths about chisels is that it has to be perfectly dead on accurate right here, and that is total BS. Okay, for example, if you look at this chisel was sharpened by hand. Okay, and if you're looking at it like that, wow, that looks really good, and then all of a sudden you turn it a little bit and you start to see some hatch marks in there. Okay, that was sharpened by hand. Chisels that come brand new are ground precision on a wheel, but for a chisel to be sharp, really sharp to work with, it does not have to be ground on a precision machine. This stupid belief is fueling the industry of selling sharpening machines for hundreds of dollars, okay? Also, you do not need water, okay? That's a real common misconception. For example, a lot of guys, woodworkers, people start woodworking, get set chisels, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, my chisels are dull, and then they get online and good grief, oh my, it's going to cost $400 to for a machine to sharpen my chisels. No, chisels can be sharpened on any grinding wheel, and I'm going to show you how to do that today. Let's take a look at some of these chisels. First of all, this here is a Craftsman, what I call a cold construction chisel. Now, if you look at it, it looks kind of rough, and it was ground rough, and it was ground across the front of the wheel like this. The reason being is this is for punching through drywall and flooring and maybe taking nails off. So it does not have to be razor sharp. Same with this one, however, it's ground a little bit better, or actually a lot better, because I ground it like a traditional chisel, but this is a cold steel chisel, usually used for knocking or cutting off metal parts. The flat chisel here is the same as the first one. It's just a little bit wider, a little bit heavier, but it is sharpened on both sides. Now, this one here is a Stanley chisel, and let's see if I can get in the light here. Okay, and you can see those crosshatch marks there, but if you rotate it enough, well, I don't know if I can, it looks pretty decent. Okay, but those crosshatch marks don't mean anything. It just means it's been sharpened. This one is very sharp, and I'm going to show you a trick to get it even sharper than normal. Okay, let's start out here. The first chisel we're going to look at is this one. This is an old, cheap Stanley chisel. Now, I don't know how well you can see this, but it has been sharpened on both sides. And look at this, okay? Up here top where you see that blue thing, that is the blade has been burned. Now, to save this chisel, we are going to have to grind past that, okay? And this one's really chewed up bad. It's been sharpened improperly on both sides. So we're going to have to grind it back past that. This here is a Japanese style chisel, and I made the handle from that out of walnut wood. I turned it on a lathe, but it's an old chisel, and as you can see, it's been improperly sharpened. There's all kinds of different bevels on it. It's not straight, and it's rounded, okay, but it hasn't been burned. This one here is the same way, improper sharpening. Looks like it's been nicked on that side a little bit too. But anyway, the interesting part about this is that a lot of people, for example, like this one here, you know, they'd be like, oh, throw that in the trash, get a new one. No, it's still a good chisel. You just have to sharpen it. And one of the advantages of knowing how to sharpen a chisel is, let's say you go to a garage sale or something, or, you know, thrift store, and you see a box of chisels or something. They may be, you know, rusty, chewed up, and have chips out of them or things like that. But, you know, you can buy a set of chisels, you know, and clean them up, sharpen them, and they'll be as good as a professional set. All sharpened and ready to go. So I'm going to get set up over here on the grinding wheel, and I'm going to show you how to sharpen these things. Okay, it's been close to a week since I did my last video or partial video on the sharpening of the chisels, mainly because I had a problem with my iPhone. It was not recording any video. So since then, remember we were going to sharpen this chisel. I've already sharpened it, and but I have 3 others here which need to be sharpened. I have a lot of chisels that need to be sharpened. This one needs to be cleaned up in general. Angle's okay on the blade, but it's corroded really badly. This one here, if you look at the blade, poor sharpening, not very good. It's got several different angles on it. And this one here is really, really chewed up. So we're going to go over here, and I'm going to show you how to sharpen these things. Also, there was another one over here I had that needed to be taken down quite a bit. And that is what I had to do. Let's see, this one here, that one's pretty decent. I think I've sharpened that one. That's a hot mess. Okay, let's see here, where is it? Offhand, I really can't, here it is. Okay, this one here was just chewed up. You know, it was probably used as a paint can opener or something at some time. Looks like an old Stanley, kind of a cheapie. But we're going to go over here, and we're going to, I'm going to show you how to sharpen this. This has been beveled on both sides, improper sharpening. And so I'm going to show you how to get a good chisel edge on this and restore this. Okay, so here we are. Now, as I said before, I think in my last video, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to kind of put that over on the side of the chisel, not the top. We could actually, on the top, we could actually, or since we're taking so much off, we could take a little bit off the top. Let's try that. So this one is a specifically bad one here because, let me get it in here so you can see it, because on both sides, it's been beveled by sharpening. So let's start this thing up. Okay, I'm just gonna go here. Alright. Actually, it took quite a bit off of it. Let's keep going. I'm kind of getting a bad angle on it here. Hold on. And one thing I don't want to do is start to see some blue on there. So I'm giving it really a light hand. But these wheels can really take off a lot of stock. Okay, I'm starting to see, there is a little blue up there. That's not what I've done. That's what somebody else has done. Okay, so improper sharpening. Okay, as you can see, if you can kind of see here, I'm putting all kinds of angles on it. But that's going to change when we put it on the side, okay? But we've got to get that thing out of there. All right, we're starting to do it. Okay. Now, we've got a long ways to go. Okay. So now what we're going to do, I'm not going to grind this all the way out because it's not premium chisel or back. I'm going to go ahead and put it on the side here. And I'm going to, okay. And you just gotta kind of watch, see if you're getting the right angle on it. Okay. As you can see there, it's starting to put a little bit of an angle on it. You want to conform it to the right angle. And as I said, you don't need water, but if you want to use water, it's okay. You don't want to get too hot, but you're not going to get it perfect. That's what the polishing stone is for. A little hot on me there, okay. All right, what we want to do though is make sure it's kind of straight across there. Needs a little bit more off of here. Yeah, I'm gonna hang on here. Just a bit more. Okay, that's pretty good. All right, we're gonna shut this down now. And we're gonna go over to the bench now and hit it on the sharpening stone. A lot of big burr here. If you, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a big burr on the other side. We did take out a lot of the bad on this chisel, but this is a cheapie, so we don't care. Okay, here we are over at the bench. Now, we're gonna take our stone, as I said before. This thing has several different grits on it. The lowest is 200, and that is the one that is yellow in color on the surface. This is a diamond stone. We're going to start with that, and then we're going to rotate around to 300, 400, and 600, okay? Now, I want to tell you that this is not the only way you do sharpening. For people that have whetstones, you know, they say, oh, you need to use a whetstone. There is nothing wrong with using a whetstone, okay? It will produce a very good result. The only problem is, most whetstones I find on the market today are in part made of plastic. Grinders vibrate. You know what vibration does to plastic? Makes cracks, okay? And then one of those pieces busts, and what happens? Time for a new, $400 grinder. Okay, now, what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of lay it down like this. Let me get the side here where you can see. We're going to lay it down like this, and we're going to just start. Let's see if this would work better. Yeah, it would. Okay. All right. And as you can see, we're starting to put a real good, nice, clean surface on it. A lot better than it was. Okay. All right. Now we're near there. Looks pretty good. We could clean it up a little bit at the top. Always got to be careful. You don't want to slip off and rip into your hand. It will not be very good. Okay, we're going to stop right there. Now, that's the hard part. Now, when we get over here, we're only going to take it a couple times on this one. And we're going to switch it around again to 400. All right, and that's looking good. Then finally to 600. Oops. Okay, this is the last one. Okay. All right. Now, we're also going to run it just a couple times on there to take the burr off. I'll have to angle it up a little bit since this has actually been sharpened very wrong. Now, this is pretty sharp at this point. But what we want to do is we want to angle it up a little bit, drag it back a little bit, to put what we call a micro bevel on it. And that makes it really, really, really sharp. Okay? So, okay? Yeah. Okay. And gotta take that burr off of there. All right. Yeah, so let's grab a piece of wood here and take a look. Okay, see if I can't zoom in any closer. But if you bring it on here, there you go. Look at that. Look at that. Make it nice. What you want is a roll. Okay, see that? It's making a nice little roll right along in there, and that's sharpened effectively. Okay, they can be, if you had a leather strop or something, or I'm considering getting a paper one, they would work very good too. They would probably sharpen a little bit more on this, but the problem is when you're working with hard materials like wood and things, that really super razor sharp edge is not going to last very long. It's going to go down to basically this sharpness within a very short period of time, a few seconds. So if you want to go ahead and sharpen them real sharp like that, go ahead, but realize it's not going to last very long. So that's my sharpening video for chisels. You do not need a whetstone. You don't even need water. However, you can keep a little container of water if you're, worried. Maybe you have a very expensive chisel or something and you don't want to burn it. This one was burned, but we pretty much took the burn out, so it's okay. If you grind past the burn, which the burn is a blue mark on there, a blue or a black mark. Sometimes I've even seen kind of a reddish one. But if you grind it past that mark, you're okay. So this chisel is pretty sharp. It's ready for, it's not perfect. We still have that's backward or back bevel on there that was ground in improperly, but it's a whole lot sharper than one of these. So I'm going to go ahead and probably sharpen some of the rest of these. And I'm also going to have a video about how to put the chrome back on these things too. So hit like and subscribe if you liked my video, and maybe comment, or if you have a better way of doing this or something, let me know. I've been sharp. These things work fine for me, and it's just an example of something you can do on the sharp ball to get your tools back going. But maybe you have a better way or something. Be polite. I don't know everything. But leave it in the comments section, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.